of you guys that person that you want to be right no matter what? I'm like that. I want to be right no matter what. So you know what that means? Acknowledging that you're wrong a lot too, so that you can change that view and then adopt the right one and be able to say, see, now I'm right. I thought I was right before, but now I'm right. Now I want to be accurate. I don't want to, it isn't a pride thing where, nope, sky's orange, I don't care what you say. It's, dude, stupid, open your eyes. Oh, you're right. The sky appears blue. I guess I was wrong before, but now I'm right. Allowing those things to permeate this thick layer of personality that surrounds all of us through which we interpret the world, man. But you grow through the confronting of the pain. And that's just a hard thing for us to do, especially when we're so used to comfort. Especially when we live in a world and we have a society, I mean, so much of our society is geared towards eliminating discomfort. You have a headache, what do? What's that? Take a pill. Yeah. You have indigestion, what do? Take a pill. You have any problem at all, what do you take a pill? I know people who have bags of medicines. They look like a walking medicine chest. And yet, all that medication in me just makes me feel sick. What should I do? Take a pill to deal with the nausea. You know, we're so afraid of pain, but we're so afraid of poison. But just a little bit of poison right now inoculates you to the pain later. But we have to have the courage to confront the pain and to grow from it. A lot of times in life, we can't see the thing itself, but we can see the symptoms around it. If any of you guys are into space, if you look out into the universe, we're looking for black holes. How did we know that black holes existed? We speculated that they existed long before we knew that they did. And the reason was because we realized from the math that something was off. We could even look out into space. You can't see a black hole in space, but what you can see is like time-space warping in certain places. And then you can speculate and go, I bet there is something there that is causing this warp in time-space. We couldn't see the black hole, but we could see the symptoms of it. You can tell when you're talking to people if they're psychologically damaged. They won't come out and say, well, actually that's not true. I was about to say they won't come out and say, I'm psychologically damaged. It's 2025. We brag about stuff like that. But by and large, people won't come out and who have real mental health problems and say, I have this problem going on. But what you can do is see the symptoms of it. In other words, we can see these things here. What gets us to the bottom of the core there is asking that question. Yeah, but why? Until there are no more whys to ask. In other words, why is it that fitting in matters so much to people? Well, because we want to be liked. Yeah, but why? Well, because if I'm liked, I have lots of friends, and I have people around me, and I'm not lonely. Yeah, but why would you feel lonely? Why is loneliness a problem? Because if we're gonna fill up the loneliness with people, that means that we're solving a problem. There's some kind of a problem in our lives that we're taking action to try to remedy. It's not even happening necessarily at this conscious level. So then the question becomes, yeah, but why is loneliness such a bad thing? And a lot of us kind of stop there. We shrug our shoulders and just go, just because. Stop being a 5-year-old. Why? Philosophers are adult 5-year-olds. We're trying to get to the bottom to figure out the it. The reason for it is because when you understand what motivates us, we recognize what motivates people, and then we can start to answer the questions of what is it that we're really after in life. What is my meaning? What's my purpose? Why am I doing the things that I do? Why do I seem to behave in ways that are completely contrary to the ways that I want to behave? And I wonder how many, I don't even know, I'm not even going to ask if, but I wonder how many of us, got to be damn near 100% of us, don't do the things that we want to do. In fact, the things that we don't want to do, we find ourselves doing it. You ever told a lie before and you have no idea why you lied about it? And you're just like, why did I say that? I was telling a story yesterday to a 6th grade class because it came off of a birthday story. I don't know if you guys heard about my birthday yet. You guys have friends in my 6th grade class? Yeah, if you know anybody in my 6th grade class, ask them about my birthday. they'll tell you a story. But after I told this story about a birthday, somebody was telling me, you know what? And she was telling me a story about how some people thought she passed out on a roller coaster one time. It was over at SeaWorld, and I guess there's a roller coaster that goes backwards. And when it went backwards, she closed her eyes and was just chilling. And then her friend afterwards asked her, "Oh my God, did you pass out on the roller coaster?" And she just goes, "Yeah." She didn't, and she's like, "I have no idea why I said yes." And then every time now, she said it's happened now 3 times where she's had to continue the lie, and that people will talk about it afterwards. Oh, remember when you passed out on the roller coaster over at SeaWorld? And now she can't really say, "I didn't really pass out," because if she does that, then she exposes herself as a liar. But now she also feels terrible about herself because she's lying, and she has to continue this lie that's now been going on for almost 2 years. And the only way she can get rid of the lie is to get rid of their friends. So the question is, she was trying to figure out, why would I have lied about that? There's always a reason. There's always a logic to it. It's finding out the it. Why is it that would be a problem? So, sorry for dragging you into that, into my thought experiment, but sometimes you guys will hear me ask that question of why. I'm not trying to be a jerk, and I won't usually ask you that 10 times. Why? But just to let you know that towards the end of the school year, this is what we're aiming at, to get to the bottom of some really important issues. And for an issue to be important, that means it has to be specific to us. And there's almost nothing that's more important, almost nothing that's more specific to us than us, why we do the things that we do. So, sorry. Others. I know, after a 10-minute diatribe. Yeah, so a physician's a doctor. So he's referencing here a doctor. It's the bitter potion by which the doctor within you heals your sick self. So your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. So he says that you've got this thing, this understanding, and you have a shell around it. And that when you break through that shell of understanding, it's painful. Does he mean you're taking your physical head and you're running your physical head into a physical boundary? No. He's saying that psychologically, having to break through this shell of understanding, because it's almost like it's this visual of if you've got this body around you. Tell me if that sounds familiar. The you is the thing that's within you, not your body, which surrounds you. But you've got this almost like bubble casing around you. And your whole world is happening within that little bubble casing. Everything you've ever experienced, all of your ideas, all of our thoughts. Now, the difficulty with something like this, I guess there's lots of them, but one of them is that if the shell is so solid around us that no new ideas can permeate in, and then nothing can escape and get replaced with some other idea, we'll never be anything other than what we presently are. And the whole world will have to be interpreted through the lens of what we see within here. So the idea of seeking out truth, getting to the it's, finding out something, getting to deeper truths, in order to do that, we have to get rid of some of the ideas that we presently hold. Getting rid of the ideas that we presently hold, a lot of people will say, "Oh, that's no big deal," but it's not. The things that you think, the things that you believe, the way that we see the world, it's all very carefully constructed. And it helps us to make sense of the world. It helps us to be comfortable in the world. One of the reasons, like when you talk about people who end up, for example, in an abusive relationship, you go, why are they staying in that relationship? Here's why. It's comfortable. So they like it? No. There's a difference between liking something and being comfortable within it. Being comfortable within something, being comfortable means that you're able to settle into it and you can tolerate it. And one of the truths that you're going to find out about life is that the people you end up with are going to be a perfect reflection of what you think about yourself. If you think really highly of yourself, you won't be with someone who treats you badly. Not because you're going to spin your head around and say, "I know my worth." It won't be that at all. Very few people, almost nobody knows their actual worth, better or worse. But what will happen is, you'll think very highly of yourself. The person is treating you in a way that doesn't correspond with how you see reality. And it'll just be uncomfortable. You may not even really totally realize why. It might not even be they treat me badly. It might just be, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it fits. It feels weird, I don't know. Similarly, some of you probably know people who think very lowly of themselves, and yet they get treated very well. And yet somehow they ruin that relationship. Why? Because it's not comfortable. It's not, that person might make them happy, but happiness is not their equilibrium. Happiness is not their comfort. So they end up with somebody who treats them badly because they think badly about themselves. Those things usually fall apart when one person starts to think differently about themselves than the way in which they're being treated. Then those things fall apart. So if you think highly of yourself and someone treats you very well, that's just Tuesday for you. That's kind of like normal. That's how I'm supposed to be treated. Not because I deserve it, but just because that's the equilibrium. That feels natural and comfortable and normal to me. Similarly, if someone treats you badly, you stick around for it because that's your equilibrium. In order to grow past that, if you're being treated badly and then you start thinking better about yourself, well, understand you think badly about yourself for a reason. It's not just because you popped out of the womb like, oh, I'm a piece of crap. I hope people treat me like this. That's not what it is. It's that things have happened in your life and in your upbringing that have made you feel that way. And the thing about our minds is that it doesn't even have to be something massive. It could just be like you came home from school one day, you're excited, you ran up to tell your mom or dad something, and they go, shh, quiet. And you're like, oh, okay. And then maybe a couple days later you had something else exciting, and they oh God, I'm tired, okay? Not right now. In other words, maybe you're made to feel, not even intentionally, but you're made to feel like, oh, later for me. Later is always for me. And then you kind of grow up that way, thinking that about yourself. And you can see it manifest in ways. You can see it manifest as you don't tell people how you feel about things because you don't want to mess up their day. Or you put everybody ahead of you, even when it harms you. You don't see the thing, you can see the symptoms of it, though, in your behavior. And then, in order to finally grow out of that, now you've got to look back at your life and go, oh my gosh, I've been living like this for 18 years, 20 years, 30 years, in some cases 50 years. That feels like 50 years of wasted life, 18 years of wasted life, 30 years of wasted life. And that can be painful because the way that you thought the world was is completely different from the way that it actually is. The way that world inside of your shell here, it reflects that. But once you start seeing other things pop in, and you start to realize, no, wait, actually I am pretty good at certain things. Or, no, I actually am worth more. And all of a sudden it can start to feel like a waste, and that's painful. So one of the ways that people will avoid that is to avoid that shell permeations. In other words, they'll continue allowing themselves to be treated this way because and then letting it reconfirm, looking for proof, like, no, I haven't been wrong this whole time. That's a hard thing for so many people to acknowledge, that you're wrong. And yet it's also one of the most natural things about being a human. Look at the universe around you. It is incredibly complex. Okay, forget that. Look at this classroom. It's incredibly complex. Look at the lights. Anybody know how the lights work? Anybody here do electricity? Sure. I have no idea. What's in the light? What makes the light light up? What's in there? I don't know. Bright shit. And all I know is that when I go and I flip on the light, all of a sudden bright shit just fills up the lights and then the lights turn on. I have no idea how this stuff works. There's no shame in not knowing how all of the world works. And yet we're so afraid of just going, I was wrong. I was wrong. It's good to be, any of you guys, are any of you guys that person that you want to be right no matter what? I'm like that. I want to be right no matter what. So you know what that means? Acknowledging that you're wrong a lot too, so that you can change that view and then adopt the right one and be able to say, see, now I'm right. I thought I was right before, but now I'm right. No, I want to be accurate. I don't want to, it isn't a pride thing where, nope, sky's orange, I don't care what you say. It's, dude, it's stupid, open your eyes. Oh, you're right. The sky appears blue. I guess I was wrong before, but now I'm right. Allowing those things to permeate this thick layer of personality that surrounds all of us through which we interpret the world, man. It's bitter, but that's the doctor. That's the thing that heals us. So you've got to trust you have to trust the pain. Pain happens because of growth usually. But you have a choice. If you go to the gym and you lift, you do squats, it hurts. It sucks. But That's how you grow. Or you're doing squats and you go, this hurts too much, and then you leave. And I guess you'll grow through that too, but you'll grow in different ways. But you grow through the confronting of the pain. And that's just a hard thing for us to do, especially when we're so used to comfort. Especially when we live in a world and we have a society, I mean, so much of our society is geared towards eliminating discomfort. You have a headache, what do? What's that? Take a pill. Yeah. Yeah. You have indigestion, what do? Take a pill. You have any problem at all, what do you take a pill? I know people who have bags of medicines. They look like a walking medicine chest. And yet, now all that medication in me just makes me feel sick. What should I do? Take a pill to deal with the nausea. You know, we're so afraid of pain, but we're so afraid of poison. But just a little bit of poison right now inoculates you to the pain later. But we have to have the courage to confront the pain and to grow from it. We looked at the quote from the first day, well, the first journal one from Friedrich Nietzsche. Anybody guys remember him, the guy with the big mustache? And he has a really famous quote. I guarantee almost all of you have heard it before, if not all of you. He said, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. And that comes from Nietzsche. He's talking about himself, notice. He's saying, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. He doesn't say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, because most people are not made stronger by the pain. Most people run from the pain. That's what separates people in the world. That's a big one that separates people from the world. The ability to suffer now, to flourish later, versus the people who will run away from the suffering now. And of course, we have a massive group of people who want to avoid the suffering now, but still get the benefits later. You know, and so that's stealing something that's not yours. If you didn't suffer for it, you didn't earn it, man. You know, so questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticism, critiques? Yeah.